Hello, people. Last time we left off with what if deku was fused zamasu and Utter's reincarnation. He was releasing all of his tears onto Aizawa Nezu because, semi-emotional boy. Because guys have feelings too, even though we suppress it. And yeah, it eventually either ends up to us killing ourselves or emotional problems later on down the line. Yeah, I did a whole speech on this a while ago. Yeah, that was like 30 minutes of one video, but I can't remember what the title of that video was. But anywho, so first, no entrance exam. No, we already covered the entrance exam. Alright, first day of UA. Hi, yay. But anywho, oh yeah, and by the way, I'm erasing Femme Vegito, like done, gone, complete, bye. But anywho, so like everybody else, they're already in class, and Deku, even though he now lives in UA, he didn't come to class. Wanna know why? Because he was having a training match with the top 15 heroes, minus Aizawa. And he was fighting All Might in his base form, and he had kicked All Might. All Might goes crashing through the windows of 1A. And they're like, a villain attack? And Deku, he like dashes in. 100 hit combo on All Might. And he says, final times 100 Big Bang Kamehameha. Ha! He's like, I learned that one. I'm from Goku. Boom. Unleashing clips in his mug. Like, bruh, legit, what's a slug to a larva? Like, doo-doo. But, I digress. So, anywho, they're like, nigga, is you a villain? Please save us. He's like, oh, sorry, as all for being late. And he was like, yeah, I know. You always have to have your training matches. Thanks, a part of your DNA. Even though both parts have Black Air Force energy on deck every 5 seconds. And he's like, yep. And they're like, what's Black Air Force energy? And he's like, can I show them? And he's like, no. And then, like, Denki, just being stupid, is just like, yeah, let him show us. I want to know what it is. And he's like, let's step outside. They'll get outside, and he's like, hey, Nimrod, since you said you want to see what it is, just stand right there. He stands in front of him, and he's like, watch this. 1,000 hit combo. Kicks him up into the air. Goji eat a Boom Rush style Super God Shock Flash, God Punisher, and then Soul Punisher, Doomph. And then he says, times 100 Big Bang Kamehameha, powering up all the while. And then he says, Ultra Instinct, boom. Nigga got eviscerated. Brought him back to life though. He's like, you're welcome. And you're like, why is he so chill? And I'm just like, this man has mood swings. That, and like I already stated in the first part, he has dissociative identity disorder. If I didn't say it, he does. But then the coldness kicks in. He's like, alright, so let's just, let's get on with whatever tests. And he's like, mood swings again? And he's like, shut up. Ball throw. He, like, grabs the ball. And he says, full power. Susanoo grabs that thing. Boom. Peace. Infinity. Done. He gets infinity on everything, by the way. But, anywho, Heroes versus villains. So, Deku, he says, hey, let me go against the entire class. He's like, and Aizawa's just like, you know what? Since you can take on the top 15 heroes all by yourself, including All Might, yep, just do it. He's like, alright. Bruh. Madara, Shinobi Alliance, Google it. Just imagine all of 1A's heads on top of the Shinobis, and this man just saucing. But anywho, they're all out there and they're all just like, wow. And like, he has this outfit on. And he's just like, y'all ain't shit. Like, bruh, this man is the key. Bruh, the amount of Black Air Force energy. But, anywho, I could have sworn that I hit it when you think you have a picture, and then the picture decides to go bye-bye. But, oh, I deleted it when I was making space. I can't remember what for, but I was making space. Because a nigga be doing too much. And have you watched What If Deku Was Dobby with a Twist? Hurry up and watch it. Same with What If Deku Was Gypsy Avenger and Obsidian Fury.
So what kind of soda do you?
Sprite. Sorry, y'all. I was inputting my order. But oh yeah, and there are a couple of what ifs that didn't get published. I'll be doing those soon. Cough cough. What if Deku was Randy Cunningham, and then a Naruto what if. Well, another well, it's what if Deku was Randy Cunningham, and then what if Naruto was Randy Cunningham. But yeah. And then another what if Deku was a certain Gundam. Cough cough. But yeah. And then I'll be doing part 2 to what if Tanjiro was a demon. Yeah, sorry, a lot of what ifs that are coming up, and yeah, busy schedule. But this man, he's just sitting there and he says, can I go full power? Man activates the Rene Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. He says Susanoo. It appears with a white Susanoo, a pale white Susanoo. And then he says, alright. And then the Susanoo, he grows another pair of arms. And then, like, the wings also have hands on them. So this man's wielding 6 swords. 12 million slashes. So every single one of them arms got 2 million slashes in. And then he says, this Susanoo is destruction itself. Which, if you play Storm 4, you get what I mean. Be gone with the booty clap, my guy. And Aizawa was just sitting in, like, the observation room with All Might, and he's just like, we're raising a monster, just so you know. And he's like, do you think I don't know that? I'm the #1 hero for a reason. And he's like, yes, I understand, but you're quite stupid. And he's like, true. I don't even have any Black Air Force energy. And he's like, yeah, me being Aizawa on the other hand. He's like, true, chill. But Deku, he then just says, alright, Yeetus deletus, eat a fetus. And everybody's just like, because they were already like half dead. Meteor, done. And he says, wait a second, stop time. Bruh. He took a pussy picker. Freaking, Mina. Yeah, let's go with Mina. Because, why not? He's like, shush. Watch this. Harmonizing. Yes, I am majestic. I know I'm a flaming bird on fire in a pit of garbage. I know I'm amazing. But, anywho. Sorry, I'm tweaking. The coding is too much. Anywho. Deku, he says, alright, what next, Teach? And he's like, could you bring them back to life? And he's like, maybe, if I wanted to. He brings them all back to life, and he's like, alright, you sorry chumps. I suggest you train if you even want to just walk in the same places as me. Because again, he has that zamasu act. Like, bruh, you mortals do not belong. And if I'm being technically honest, you're lucky mine is cooled down. Like, bruh. But, anywho. Deku. At lunch, he's, eating. And, like, Femme Todoroki. Cough, cough, she looks like this. She goes, it's down with him, and she's like, so, what's your quirk? He says, don't have one. And she's like, what do you mean you don't have one? You have to be one. He's like, nope. I'm just a god. And then, like, Monoma, he comes up and he's like, oh, hey, look, some UA filth. I mean, some 1A filth. Look at how garbage they are. Oops, sorry. Spills an entire milkshake on, Femme Todoroki's hair. And she, like, starts crying. Deku. He teleports behind Monoma so fast. Makes the freaking scythe. Impales him through the back of the chest. Pulls him over his head. Makes that nigga land on the floor. Pulls the scythe out of him. 1,000 cuts to the head. Hits him in the stomach. Throws him up into the air. Makes that dissipate. The sword, bruh. 1,000 strikes. Susanoo slaps that nigga back up into the air. Starts bouncing him like a freaking ping pong ball. Do. Bruh, them shadow clones of heaven at 1-on-1 tennis match, bruh. And then he says, be gone. Boom! He revives Monoma and he's like, so, wanna die again? Because Deku, albeit he doesn't care for the mortals in his presence that much, he won't stand to let them get humiliated by anybody else other than him. And he says, alright, anybody else want to try something stupid? Because they saw the amount of blood this man was spilling. He says, hey, Shota, come with me. He takes her to the bathroom and, like, he helps clean out her hair for her. And she's like, I can do this for myself, you know. He's like, yeah, I guess this is just my way of repaying the little girl that I couldn't save. And she's like, huh? And he's like, a year ago, I couldn't save a little girl. She died. I still haven't forgiven myself. And he like rinsed out her hair and stuff for her. Puts it in a ponytail like this because it was just like all down. And she was like, thank you. And bruh, I still cannot get over how amazing this drawing it was and still is. Like, bruh, this amazing. Mwah. This is the best Spawn drawing I've ever done, minus the one that got destroyed, but even then, I still think this one was better. Cause bruh, look at the shading. The shading, bruh. But, sorry. But every artist has to appreciate their work. But, anywho. So, Deku. And, like, all the girls, they see this, and they're, like, crying, and he, like, looks back, and he's like, huh? He's like, It's like, well, there you go. Pats her on the head. He says, well, alright. I'm going home. Gets up and goes to the UA dorms. Later in the evening, well, technically, once everybody went back into the class, I was like, alright, everybody, here are your dorm cards. And they're all just like, huh? Where's the zamasu? Shouldn't he get his? And he's just like, oh, he already got his. He's been living here for like a month. And they're just like, oh, okay. But Deku, he's just chilling without a shirt on. Because I'm going to say, like, their gym was, like, in the front area. He's, like, popping his back and stuff. And then he's just, like, doing push-ups. And then, like, everybody comes in. Like, they all see him shirtless, scars on. He, like, gets up and he's like, oh, hey, everybody. He says, also, girls, which one of you is the heaviest? And he says, nah, never mind. Mina, Shota, Momo, all of you on my back. And they're like, huh? He's like, yeah, you three are going to be on my back while I run. And then when I do push-ups, I need weights. And they're like, wow. But Mina, also being low-key a pervert, he's like, okay. He's like, alright, hop on. And like, she just like gets onto his back. She feels his tent rising up, touching her ankle. And she's just like, shit. Like, bruh. She's just like licking her lips. Biting her lips. She's just like. But, this man, he does a, 199 non-million mile run at infinite speed, and like the treadmill was still going, and they all saw the number and they were like, nigga, excuse me. Like, and I believe the world record for how long a man has sprinted is, like, on a treadmill is like 120 miles. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I cannot remember. Well, and I have a book of like athlete facts. But Shota, she's just like, even though she's like on his back, she's just like feeling his pecs, and she's just like, sheesh. And like she's feeling his heartbeat, and it's just so calm, and she's just like, is this why his skin's like pale white? Because it beats so slow? But Deku, he goes and he's doing push-ups now, and they're all like sitting on his back. But yeah. And so he says thank you, pats all three of them on their heads. He says, anyway, so any of you guys want to watch a movie? He says this all while shirtless. He's like, let me go get a shirt. He gets like a skin tight shirt. Me wondering if I have like yes. Like the one I am wearing. He gets one like this. But yeah. And like all the girls are like, it's the same, but black. And like he's sitting like on one part of the section, and then like Shota, she's like sitting right next to him. And he says, I'm gonna take a nap. Y'all can choose whatever movie y'all want. He just lays down on her lap, and like Mina, she gets jealous. And like while he's like sleeping, heavy air quotes around sleeping, he just closed his eyes and was like fake snoring. She kissed him. This nigga turned red, and they all could see, and they're like, is he actually asleep? He says, no, I'm not. And Mina, you're a pretty good kisser. And she goes, flustered, even though she knows that she did. But Shota, she was like, not fair. And they're like, whatever, he got to do your hair, and he stood up for you. And she was just like, true, that just means he's a really good man. He's like, I understand that, but you don't do too much. And he just says, fine. Shota, come here. And they are just both standing in front of him. He hugs them both with like his hand on like the back of their heads, and like he sits down and he says, there, you guys fine now? And they say, yeah. He just says, alright, and then takes a nap. Alright, time for the USJ. Deku, he sees one of the people that had killed Eri, because if you remember, I killed off Eri. Yeah, a lot of people hated me for that. Good thing I didn't have comments on. Or did I? I don't trust this. Oh, anywho. He sees one of the people, and like everybody just feels like the air get like 100 times heavier, and like they all just get like forced to the ground, minus Aizawa. He just says, "Everybody get out now." And they're all just like, "Huh? What?" But there are a bunch of villains, and he just says, "Get out now." Aizawa, get them out. And he says, "Yes, sir," because he knows that this man's Black Air Force energy is over 9,000, bruh. Like, legit, this man takes baths in Black Air Force activity, bruh. Like, this man built different. But, his all-white Susanoo, he uses it, smacks these niggas around like a ping pong ball. Shadow Clone Jutsu 72 times. There are 72 of them. He says, "Now, would you like these Shadow Clones to Susanoo or what?" And like one guy was like, "Yeah, I mean, you're too weak." I'm on yet. Like, bruh, he was straight up weak. Weak. Nigga, you just pressed a switch that was not ever supposed to be pressed. They all use Susanoo. They all drop meteors. They all use fireball jutsu. Well, fire shell, majestic destroyer flame, but He then says, "Yeet and delete," and they like, "Huh?" Boom! Smacks the Nomu so hard, everyone's spine collapses. But Shigaraki and freaking Kurogiri got out of there right on time, my guy. But anywho, but yeah. So Deku, he's just like, what a pain. And he walks out without a scratch on him. Like, 13, she goes back in there thinking that they can, no, she sees a bunch of blood, and like the areas with water, that's blood, not no water. She throws up, and Aizawa goes to ask her if she's okay, and he looks and he and like everybody, they go in and they just throw up. He's like, "You shouldn't have went in there." And they see guts, brains, bodies all over the place. He says, "Yep, that nigga, Black Air Force." And her, gee. And like that was what like the last guy said, since he was like cut in half. And like everybody saw like guts all over yeah, it wasn't fun. But anywho. But once they got back to UA, Mina says, "Hey, I know how to lighten the mood," and Dick is like, let's have a dorm contest. And everybody's like, okay. And they say, first, let's start off with zamasus. They go into his room. All they see is training equipment. That's it. A TV and a mini fridge. And like Hirshima's like, "Hey bro, can I come in here and work out with you one of these days?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." Heck, all the boys of UA, I wouldn't mind training you guys. And the girl's just like, "What about us?" And he says, "Summoning jutsu." He summons Tsunade. And she's like, "Huh, what? Where am I?" And he's like, "I brought you back from the death, so train them." And she's like, "Who are you?" And he says, he like transforms into Madara. And she's like, no, I follow your orders. She like is like, "Alright, let's get to training." And they all learn medical ninjutsu. And that's it. Only medical ninjutsu. So that way they can heal themselves. They can't apply it to anything else but themselves. And they have the gem mark or whatever. But Deku, he just trains all the boys in their quirks. But Kirishima, he like makes a copy of his quirk and he says, "Here, try making yourself unbreakable." And he hardens like his entire body and transforms into like unbreakable. But for him, so like his hair is like more spiky. So yeah. And Deku. Bruh, what are you doing? Taking a shit. Oh. But, anywho, guys. Sorry. But, yeah, he was training them. Kirishima got unbreakable, so yeah. Because like I stated in the past, Kirishima will either be well, Fem Kirishima will either be the ship or normal Kirishima will be his best friend. Because Kirishima and Dabi are my favorite characters. But, yeah. But yeah. So sports festival time skip. But she says, will Zamasu step up to the podium? Deku flash steps. I mean, not flash. Yeah, it's flash step. But yeah. He flash steps up there. And he's like, alright. We know that I'm going to be first, but try your hardest. And Monoma, don't try to pull anything slick. 'Cause if you do, I'll kill you. Permanently. And everybody just looks at Monoma and says, what did you do to get on this nigga's bad side? Nothing, just make fun of his girlfriend. He says, she's not my girlfriend unless she wants to be. He says, same with Mina. And they say, we do. He says, alright. Hey, if you two can place within the top 10, you get a surprise. Mina, she just gets a determined look in her eyes, and everybody else feels just pressure from the back. He's just smiling and he says, alright everybody, watch out for the two roided up beings that I have just created. Yeah, try not to get in their way. Or mine, for that matter. And she says, you really turned me on, you know. Slips him her phone number. And he says, thanks, I'll let you know if I need a booty call. I mean, he says, alright, booty call if you need. And she's just like, oh, don't worry, I will. By, like, putting her, like, fingernail on her mouth. And then just, like, licks her lips. And, like, Mina, she sees this. And she's like, oh, no, oh, hell no. You ain't stealing our man. And she says, he says, don't worry, I'm loyal. He teleports back down to them, gives them both a kiss on the forehead. He says, alright everybody, 3, 2, 1, go. And everybody's like, huh? Boom, teleports to the finish line, and he's like, wimps. But Todoroki, so Shota, she like throws Ashido, so that way she can like get ahead, and then she just glides with her ice past like everything. So yeah. Also, did you know that there's more nerves in your thumb than any other body part besides your dick for the male? Bet you didn't. But, anywho. Those two get second and third place. Shoto getting second, Mina getting third, and he's like, you're really determined, huh? And Bakugo, he's just like stupid nerd. Nobody else will get it first besides me. Yeah. Angry Pomeranian noises. Like, bruh, he's a Pomeranian with the attitude of a Chihuahua. Like, bruh. Like, I remember watching this, like, comic. And, like, Deku had, like, said, hey, Kachan, I left my hero book over here. And, like, he goes over there, and then, like, pop. And then there's, like, a dog. And he's like, oh no, Kachan's been turned into a dog. And then, he says, no, that's my pet. He's like, He's like, but be careful, it's a mean little. And he's like holding it perfectly fine. He's like, it don't bite. And he's like, yes it do. Yes, it fart. Yes it do. But, anywho. Cavalry battle, this man's just flying the entire time. And he makes a Susanoo. And he, like, projects it down on everybody. And you're like, how is that possible? And I say, because it's my what if anything is possible. The Susanoo just starts ripping off people's headbands. And he's like, wimps. Bakugo tries to explode up to him. He says, be gone with the booty clap. Boom. Smacks that man to the ground right before stealing his headband. He's just like, but, he gets first, Mina gets second, and Todoroki gets fourth. Third went to Kirishima. But, he's like, hey, can I fight the entirety of 1B? And the, economics classes, I think they were. And Midnight's like, sorry, but that's not allowed. And he's like, Aizawa, you better make it allowed. Or else. And he's like, make it allowed, make it allowed, make it allowed. And then there's like, why are you so afraid of this child? And he's just like, Mike, roll the clip. And it's like camera footage of the USJ. And like every villain is like watching this just cause they find it entertaining. They saw this. Half of them retired, the other half are just like, Photoshop, it must be. And then they said, this wasn't Photoshop. This is actual camera footage. And it was in full color too. They say all the blood and like at one point like guts had like splattered on the camera. And they were just like half of the freaking stadium just threw up. And he's like, alright, looks like I'm fighting 1B in the economics classes. And like everybody was like, I pray for them. But Monoma, he copies Shinzo's quirk. And he says, that Mina girl looks really fine though. I think I'll just mind control her and take her for myself. Deku, he hears this and he's like, alright. This man makes... Bruh. 10 Tails cloak. Because if you think about it, when Madara died, he had the 10 Tails. 10 Tails cloak. Susanoo. Ultra Instinct, Kaioken times 1,000,000, Super Saiyan Blue. And for effect, Super Saiyan. Let's go with 2. So his hair just becomes a little bit more spikier. And they're just like, okay, looks like everyone's getting ended. He says, you mortals will die by my hand. Summons 12 meteors, starts clapping everybody with the freaking Susanoo. Like, bruh. He says, infinite dimension slashes. He airing that thing out. And then, like, they all pull out 9s, because why not? And the 9s are made out of chakra. Pop, 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 pop. They bussin'. Do. Brr, brr, brr. But, anywho. And these were fully automatic, by the way. And then he says, this Susanoo is destruction itself. He makes one massive katana, strikes it. No, he puts, like, the tip of it into the ground. And he says, implosion. Entire Earth gets destroyed. He then recreates it. And then everyone in 1B in the economics classes are just laying dead. He brings them all back to life. And Monoma, he, like, gets on top of Monoma, starts bashing that man's head in. Bop, 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 bop. And he, like, shrinks the Susanoo down to where the Susanoo is, like, armor over him. This nigga was going bop, 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 beep, 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 beep. Fight back, nigga. Fight back. Bop, 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 beep, 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 bop, 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 bop. We bring him back to cringe. I'm dumb. Yes. The cringe. I understand it's cringe. I know I am cringe. I am a walking meme. Yes. He then rips out Monoma's jugular. He then puts his hand into his stomach, rips out his guts, and then puts both of his hands in like his ribs, and splits them mugs open like they are a cocoa plant. My God, was it bloody. He then rips off that man's head from his body, shows the spine to everybody in the world, and he says, this is what happens if you dare try to mess with my girlfriend. Crushes his skulls in his hand, brings them all back to life, and he says, alright, I'm done. And they were all just like everybody had like passed out, and then like they all like, he like snaps his fingers, they all wake back up, and he says, alright, yeah, I finished killing them all, we can end the match now. So now it's just Class 1A versus Class 1A. But yeah. And so Deku, he doesn't have to fight anymore. But he'll fight whoever's like left. Sorry. But anywho. Deku. He's just sitting watching everyone fight. Todoroki, she got first place. Mina got fourth. Second was Kirishima. Third was Bakugo. But yeah, and so yeah, and Deku, he says, "Alright, come on, Shoto," and he like leaps down. He says, "Alright, time for the final match of the sports festival." And they're all just there like, this nigga's about to massacre her. And he says, "Don't worry, I'm gonna go easy on her. Only because I love her." Walks up to her, kisses her on the forehead, flicks her in the neck. She passes out. He says, "Done." And then, just for extra measure, throws her out of the ring. Thumbs up. And he says, "Alright, but, this is the end of the video. Have fun, y'all. See y'all later. But if I'm going to be honest, he made Monoma see red, white, blue, and LGBTQ. Like, bruh, that man. Bruh. But anywho, and by the way, if you don't catch the red, white, blue, and LGBTQ, you should watch Action Jackson. But for if you want, and in the comments put hashtag rest in peace Monoma. That lets me know that you watched this video to the end. But bye y'all, have a great day. I have hentai to fap too. Bye.